Charles. Charles Bear. CharlesBear.US. Gonna timestamp this. It's 10:49 a.m. It's December 11th, 2018. For some reason, Drudge has got some alarm going off on his website. I don't quite get it. I don't know why. Doesn't make sense to me. Criminal justice reform set to pass Senate this week. Why is that a big deal? Well, there we go. They're going to reduce the number of people in the nation's crowded prisons. First Step Act. Okay. Don't know. For some reason, Drudge thinks it's a big deal. I guess it's not something that he wants to see. Or they're going to let a whole bunch of people out of jail that are going to vote for who? Maybe not vote? No. That article didn't tell me much. I'd have to read that bill. So, Trump's dealt with a hard weekend. And then yesterday was no different with the stock market. But he shakes it off. Looks like a purple tie. Google is supposed to be doing live testimony. Rights group turn up pressure. They're asking for the people who have investments in Google to punish Google and hurt their investments. That's crazy. That's not going to happen. That just ain't going to happen. Just no way. That's not going to happen. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Well, Customs are searching. Okay. Supreme Court gives victory to Planned Parenthood in Medicaid case. Kavanaugh joins liberals. Who knows what that means? He's tolerant. Three of the court's conservatives said the court should have taken up the case, but Justice Kavanaugh and Chief Justice Roberts voted with the majority. Okay. I guess they didn't take the case. Okay. Medicaid, they want Medicaid to pay for abortions or for their services. Services. Yeah, well, if it wasn't for government money, the medical establishment would be competing for our dollars. But as long as they got a cash cow, everything else they get from you and me outside of the cash cow is gravy. They have no incentive. They've leveraged all the future cash coming in already. They're all broke. They just steal all the money and then go More, please. More, please. Texas bill would allow 10 commandments to be posted in classrooms. Should be in... This is all part of history. It's a history book. Everything. They have to pass a law to allow it to be posted. Yeah. It's a shame. We're trapped. They stick us in their prisons. My prison training started at 3 years old in Brawny Brook. Brawny Brook. So, this morning it was 10 degrees out. I'm running 2 stoves now. It's 65 here at the desk. I'm chilly. It's getting drier and drier in here because I got that stove over there roaring. It finally turned off the beast, and the beast was set to 66. And for those who don't know, the beast is my heat pump. Oh no! Somebody plagiarizes? No, they don't. They log it. They don't know anything. Apps don't know anything. It's a machine. It's just a storage device. And it's a storage device that is open to other people, obviously. God, man. What is going on at Facebook? Pretty soon, yeah, Facebook is dead. Facebook is dead. Nah, it came off the page. I was reading Facebook. Rent a car with my face scan. Coneheads. That was hilarious. Coneheads phone home. At the dentist. Nah. I spelled it with a C. There it goes. Coneheads.
I have to get this job, but every other applicant has a college degree.
The resume.
I could care less. But there's an ad. I want to see the phone home. That's how I'm going to rent a car. I'm going to stick my face into a cone. There it is.
Earth woman.
I have re-radiated leftover starch sticks.
Needs up. I will enjoy it.
There. Warning, do not sear the top of your neck hole in the molten lactate extract of food mammals.
Neck hole. Who's the... Name the movie where the guy uses Windex on everything.
Excellent. The vital component for the intergalactic community.
Correct.
The Greeks are so smart.
Yeah. Perhaps a final tightening of the spiral dimension process.
Beldar, activate the device. Address Marlax. Inform him of our situation.
This is how I'm going to rent a... Oh, I can rent it. $2.99. Yep.
There, scrub.
There you go.
Phone home.
I'm going to rent a car this way. Yep. There it goes. I'd like to rent a car. I'd like to rent a car. phone home. I'm gonna rent a car with my face. Look at all those people. This is ridiculous. People vote to get out of a situation and they can't. Their politicians won't do it. Our lives are so tangled up in fancifulness. It's just ridiculous. I don't even know. How can any of it be real? It's just a facade. It's gone. France has lost its veneer of civility with all the stuff that's going on there. And England's lost its veneer of civility almost. Yeah. Oh, it's in turmoil. Brexit. They voted to get out. Why don't they just arrest the people who are supposed to do the jobs? Oh yeah, they won't, because the people voted against the bureaucrats, and the bureaucrats are doing everything they can to keep it from happening. Bureaucrats say no. People say yes. Holy cow. We're coming for you politicians. See, right there. That's what's going to happen. You know, what's happening with Trump? Why don't you just start building it, Trump? Stop goofing off about building the wall. Just build the damn thing. He kind of started to do it, I guess. I do see pictures of Constantine wire being put up, and that's about as rough as it gets. Yeah. And then the next move is to electrify that Constantine wire if they want. Boy, will that create a problem. All right. The female mayor is going to check out the brothels. 3,000 illegals caught in a day. That's a number that I just can't fathom. I can't visualize them grabbing 3,000 people and processing them. God, man. And the processing. I've been picked up. It takes 2 hours to process somebody. Well, how do you process them? And then you have one station to the next, and of course they cool their heels while they're doing it. U.S. top target for people from Honduras, El Salvador, Dominican Republic. Wow. Americans are buying bridges. They're getting scammed. $100 million was stolen from Americans, according to FTC, Federal Trade Commission. Now. Well, good job there, Mr. Firefighter, saving 100 snakes. James O'Keefe celebrates First Amendment history. Huh. I wonder what that's all about. Animal exports. The $1 million supercar. Huh. I wonder how fast it is. Why is it $1 million? Ital design. Limited to 50 units. Okay, so limited edition. Yeah. $1 million car rolling down the road, 110 horsepower. That's up there. Oh, look at those seats. I don't have a gaming seat, but I guess that's what a gaming seat looks like, or a Formula One or a NASCAR. It's a nice looking. Let's see what the commercial is. Yeah, I'd like to drive it. I don't know if I can keep it on the road. How tight is it? What is this? NUCs. Logic. Open a new tab. They got me with that one. I want to know what that is. A lot of stuff they get me with, those son of bitches. Anyway. Mysterious disease. Giant holes in system. I was told long time ago, system means sewer. Oh no, he's down to 49%. Well, now, is the inverse 51 don't agree, or is there a certain percentage you just say, fuck you, I don't care? They got to live their lives, you know. Trump is doing everything he can for us. Gas prices are way down. I paid $2.13 a gallon the other day. I do watch my Amazon. In Amazon, you can throw stuff out of your cart and still keep it for later. And they do the updates. I'm getting more updates of price increases now, but I think that's just rolling into Christmas, where, you know, they're raising prices so that they can lower them. But I don't know. Some items have moved drastically. I had something that I was going to buy at $129. It was a blue light for to put inside of cooling coils or heat pump coils, and it rose by $20 overnight. It absolutely soured me to the point where I didn't buy it. I just said, "Oh, I'll live without it. I'll just keep the charcoal on the front." You put charcoal on the front of the filter, and that it removes VOCs. The blue light kills germs and bacteria. But when I'm not here, I use ozone. So in my systems, for all my properties, I have ozone that I turn on when the place is empty. So sterilize it that way. I have portable ozone. If I go into a crawl space, and I'll ozonate it beforehand sometimes. It's worth every penny I paid for them. You can get them under $100. You know, they have ozone generators with blue light and charcoal. So that's 3 forms of purification, knocking stuff out. And then I use HEPA grade filters on my air handlers. I know a lot of people don't agree with that and cuts down on the air that transfers through it because it's a restriction. But it's worth it to me. I've got nice clean air in here. If I had my way, I'd get the Tesla, because it has the biohazard filter system just in case. See, he's taking that down off the top. It's no longer a red light. That didn't last very long. Unusual. The hostless Oscars? Well, man, they should never have gotten rid of that guy. Hollywood is literally eating itself like cancer eats its host. All I can do is hope that something rises out of this, that this stuff just stops. You know, the idea that somebody with thin skin can complain about somebody else, that's just ridiculous. And they hurt them for that? No, just change the channel. You know, the fact that they fired this cat who was going to do the Oscars, you know, God, it makes me hate the Oscars. I hate those people. And I think the Oscars was created just as a backslapping among the studios. I think, they said, hey, Edward Bernays, well, create awards for yourself and give it to yourself. And that's what I'm going to do. I know I'm in the running for the Charlie Award. I'll get my first Charlie here during the Charlie ceremonies. I'm chilly and starting to feel it to the bone. I got a fire going there. This is a cutting cold what we had last night. It penetrated the brick behind me, and ugh. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. Just like I don't like the Oscars now. Who cares about a budget deficit? There's a Hawaiian guy who does who wrote books and has seminars, and his whole basic Kiyosaki, I think is his name. His whole basic concept is, since we're in a debt world, that's what you accumulate is debt. And you use it and you leverage it, because why are you going to not accumulate debt? Because that's how you buy anything in a debt society. The dollars have to be brought into circulation through debt. And who knows if Trump's actually going to stop that. And the way to stop it, one way is to start introducing debt-free money, which is everybody who, I'm talking to the choir at times, and if you don't know anything about it, you have to investigate modern money mechanics. And what matters is velocity of money, and that's being measured by the Fed. And it's a debt base. And Kiyosaki, I think that's the guy's name. He's been. I saw him on television advertising his stuff a long time ago, and then he's been on. I think he was on Art Bell is where I first heard him. I kind of agree with what he's saying. I don't have debt because I don't know, I'm just not greedy enough. Maybe I can become greedy, start accumulating debt. But then, at the end, when they start to put in stable currency, that is money being introduced just enough to keep the velocity changing hands, and so people can trade, because that's what it's used for. And and with the debt money, it comes with the IRS. They have to pull money out to make it work. You got to put it in and take it out, and then the way they take it out, they use a carrot and a stick, and it keeps everybody in line. It's all part of the prison economy. So, and the warden issues Federal Reserve notes. Whoever the warden is on this prison planet. Yeah. Yellen, gigantic holes. Well, of course they spurn treasuries. Countries are moving away from the petrodollar. But as long as America is creating fuel. Speaking of creating fuel for sale, we should be building up our stocks again in the way of grains, cheese, condensed milk. All that stuff should be put up again. I hope that Trump puts his eye towards that eventually. It just makes me feel better when we do that. I know that it was pretty much emptied out, and then reserves for the oil have been released to help lower the pressure on prices here in America. They're raising interest rates. They're trying to hurt. I haven't looked at the velocity of my money, but I know I'll catch up with somebody on Greg Hunter who will mention that and fill me in when it comes to the velocity. Yeah, right now it's all doom and gloom. I haven't charted the Dow, but everything I've ever read and learned about investing is that, you know, when you have a run up, you have a 50% loss. You know, it has to pulsate. It breathes. It breathes in, breathes out. Next financial crisis. This is all fear. Everything's a crisis. So many people live in crisis mode. It makes your cortisol go up, I think. I had that go on earlier over the weekend before the snow hit, which is staying on the ground now. The roads are cleared up. I went out and visited a friend at the base of the mountain. And when I left, once the sun went down, that snow got crunchy. It got instantly crunchy. It was quick. The temperature just dropped. Killed and imprisoned journalists? Yeah. Yeah, everybody's got an actor's coat they put on. They put on a face. They're a person. And I've got to recognize them as these persons. You know, everybody. Well, because the warden ain't paying me. In the way he is, but he's not paying me. Speaking of paying, you guys can go to my eBay at the bottom of on the link to the description here for this video and all the other ones. I have a link to things that are for sale on eBay that I talk about or I features subliminally, like this book. I'll put it up there. But I got something that I put up there myself, which is a router for DSL. Please bid on it and buy it. I want to get rid of it, sell it. Right now, it's at a deal. It's basically the cost of shipping, so you get it for shipping right now, if that's the end sale. So you can go to my eBay links and purchase stuff, and that helps here. Keeps the ducks happy. I don't know if you can see that, but this is my spy into the lake. I'm watching over all my Charles Bear trout. I'm watching for the heron, the blue. I've seen a white. There's big ones, small ones, kingfisher. There's so much wildlife out in that lake. I've seen crustaceans that big, crawdaddies. Hey, look, 3 million books sold by this woman. I am chilly. I'm wiggling to try to stay warm. It's 67. I'm going to stoke a fire here in a few minutes. I'm going to wrap this up. I don't have anything exciting going on. Just trying to stay warm. Run for president. Few at Bloomberg wants Mike Bloomberg to run for president. Who cares? Who cares if that guy runs for president? If he becomes president, he's a warden type. He wants to put us all in cages. He's a law and order. Put you in my bank account. He locks you away in a safety deposit box. He collects, quote Alex Jones, he collects people. These fuckers are so rich they collect people. Excavation of Littlefoot skeleton reveals mysterious human relative. What the hell is that all about? Oh, livescience.com. Mm-mm-mm. Really? That? You sure? That looks like a monkey to me. It doesn't look like me. Uh-oh. Making sharks right-handed. Littlefoot was 4 foot 3 inches. Female. And they think it's a vegetarian. How the hell did they come up with that? It's a monkey. Controversial name. Well, you might want to read that. That is one weird skeleton. Yeah, I have thoughts that I think a lot of these things are chiseled out of rock. Like they just make it, like chiseling, chisel. Oh, look, we found something. Who knows? I'm so skeptical. Who knows? Oh, look at that new wallet. I'm still thinking about that. I don't want my money exposed like that. It's going to fall out in my pocket. I'm thinking about that industrial NUC. NUC. I wonder what N stands for. Utility computer? I'll have to look at it. Frat houses. Homoeroticism. Humiliation. Animal cruelty. People say all kinds of things. It's too bad if they're doing that. Numbers are in. That's a dangerous life, having sex with a robot. It could kill you. Explode. Dirty droids hacked. Record users. Okay. Let's see. Oh. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Well, that's too bad it's too bad somebody drove right through a Christmas display. It's counting down to show them to me. Really? Ah. Why? Dun dun. Why they hate that display? They must hate those cans. Holy shit. That's so sad. That's so sad. Drudge, you always give me good links at times. It's so sad. What kind of mind does that? Drudge, why do they do it? Inspect mysteriously created hole. You know, I've watched a lot of Star Trek, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, Next Generation, and it's amazing they don't all die, because crisis after crisis and issue after issue, and look, you just can't step outside and breathe. So, it's pretty damn dangerous. It's like flying. You just don't pull over and repair something. You have to get back to the ground to deal with stuff. So this whole idea that that there's not deaths occurring at that space station just boggles my mind. And if there's a statistician out there, that wants to work up them numbers, I want to know. What are the odds that they would have such a safety record at this point? I mean, it's incredible. Who cares if he's under fire? Well, at least he's not over the fire. He'd be burning. He's under the fire. Under fire. I guess they're shooting at him because he doesn't believe that the moon landing happened. Sure, you got holes in the space station, and they seem to have plenty of air for that. I guess they just put tape over it. I mean, they're literally in aluminum foil, maybe. I want to go see the fry cook. Look at this. I got to go see this. Where is it happening? Flippy, Arkansas. Okay. I'm not going to Arkansas. Maybe I can go down there just to see this robot. Trademark? They're gonna. The feds are betting on it. The mob versus mob. Haw. Russian Special Forces unit shown in action for the first time. I guess somebody's flexing their muscle. Conway. Feud. 102. Shoot. I don't know who the fuck that is. Olivia de Havilland. North Dakota passes Venezuela in oil output. All right. I think North Dakota has their own bank as a state. That's probably a very solid state. I don't know how they voted. Probably voted conservative. Could. They don't make the news too much other than this. But Venezuela, they've destroyed that. Argentina, Venezuela. There's the people who are running the Democrat side of our country right now want to do that to us. They hate prosperity. They hate the idea of you not asking them for permission or them being able to bestow something upon you. They absolutely hate it. Just vicious. Vicious people. Gaunt, filthy kids roam streets of Caracas in packs. I ran into roaming gypsies in Italy when I was in Rome. Rome. China's in charge, I guess, in Ecuador. Wow. Ebola outbreak may break out. Explode. Ebola breakout. May explode. That's sad, man. I don't even want to know about that. That's something I don't even want to go near. Well, Trump. 2-year-old crossed without parents. Holy shit. Last thing I got to say is build that wall, Trump. Just build that fucking wall. Everybody should be reading that book. Just because it tells the story of the Jacobins and the communists and the socialists in America and all the way up until 1876, and as far as I can tell, that's when this country went into fascism. When Lincoln took over the wheels of production, the levers. He moved them levers, man. So, and of course, if you go to the Senate, you can see the fasci. They're in the Senate House. We need to return the state sovereignty to control over the senators. That's something that has to be done. And Supreme Court, when it comes to the Constitution, just says it's a political issue. Now they're gonna interpret it, but as far as saying that those amendments ain't right, or somebody's breaking the rules, or they deleted an amendment, because in Virginia there's a 13th Amendment down in the State House of Richmond. Used to also had a copy up in Stanton, because Stanton was the backup library for Richmond, but they've discontinued that. That happened while I was here, and I tried to get in there and they wouldn't grant me access, and then it disappeared. They canceled the funding for it. But they had a complete repository of everything that was in Richmond was out here in Stanton. And the history is that the first Virginia Supreme Court was in Stanton. But they have a code book that was published, and it had a 13th Amendment, and basically said that you can't take a title and serve in bureaucracy in any form or fashion, or be a politician. So, you can't have a title. Well, everybody has a title now. They're all bureaucrats with titles. They like to call themselves commissioners. They like to call themselves officials. That's titles. We're right back to feudalism in that form. So, well, as you can see, there's the book. This guy is John Birch Society. Oh, yeah, it's developing. Here's some new thing, something new. 2020 poll. NBC. Yeah. NBC. I don't buy it. I know you can't see it because I switched what was going on. But here it is, Beto surging ahead of Bernie for 2020 electorate. I don't know how people can vote for slavery. Yeah, what literally that comes down to, one candidate says I want you to be free, and the other one says I want you to be a slave, and supposedly the one that says, hey, sign up, you can be a slave, gets votes. I'm so confused by that. And I know people are doing it because I meet people who are violently in favor of being a slave. And I met a lady. She was picking up a patch from the sheriff, Shenandoah County Sheriff's Office, and she was a Trump hater. And she wanted to go after Trump because Trump didn't give up control over his businesses when he became president. I don't think Obama did either. I think the Clintons also kept control of their holdings. So I'd have to check it out, but that's my recollection, and if I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody will put the comment in and say, "Hey, here's the link to Obama transferring control of his estate to a third party." And I do remember the Bushes doing it, and I know Cheney did it, and then he took. I remember the headlines and when he took control and went back to working on Halliburton. So it's a good day today. It's a good day. Let me see what we got. Videos. Nothing. Coneheads. Nothing. You check out the live video feed. At Mount Solon. I don't have any subscribers, but people are watching it. I got 12 videos. Right there. It's cold out there. We'll see. Them are the geese. They pushed the ducks out now. The ducks are all up in here now. See, the geese come out. They sit over here. The geese like to be here. They migrate to here. They work their way up to here, and then the ducks will come down here, make their way over to here, and then the cycle continues. They go in these rotations. And I've got some ducks that come in that swim underwater. It's pretty cool to see them do that. There's a vast. I got a lot of different species of ducks. Canadian geese are just damn generic. Then there's some swans that occasionally come by, not too often. They're usually down in North River, down Mount Crawford, and occasionally they'll fly out of there. And then I've got snapping turtles in there. I have groundhogs living around there, muskrat. There's the raccoons come down to visit. So far, I have yet to see a bear down in here, but I wouldn't put it past the bear if he ever figures out there's fish in there to come down here. There you go, more birds. I got hummingbirds, dragonflies. Now, if the sun comes out and it gets really shiny on these little pads right here, you'll see just above a swarm. And it doesn't matter how cold it gets, but there will be a swarm of insects just right there over that pad. And I know the fish like that. It's balanced well. I really don't have, you go anywhere around that lake and you're not going to be really bothered by insects too much. It's always been very balanced. I do put trout in there. I put them in as small as 3 inches as fingerlings. And I'll grow them up to sometimes all the way up to 12 and bigger and put them in. But there's plenty of fish in there, and twice a year I get hatchings, and you can see the fish moving through there in a cloud through the water. And then the kingfishers, you can see where they go after them. And I think we got the whole cycle of life happening in that thing. We're going to dredge it soon, so that's going to be an interesting project. If you want to get a chance, come on, roll over here. Look, somebody else is watching. 2 now. No subscribers. Subscribe. Click the bell so you can get notified if I want to live stream. And I occasionally do them. I like doing them. Very, very fortunate to have this view. You know, my neighbor up here, the commander, he's got a beautiful view, and then there's a ridge to off to the right here that runs up, and there's some people at the very top. They had emus. They were raising emus in their property at one time, and they've got a great view of the lake, especially right now because all the leaves are off the trees, so you can see the entire lake. But during the summer, it's obscured because it's pretty thick. But I think there's defoliage going on right now in America. And there's people who talk about that. I've noticed over the last 15 years, it's thinning out. There are parts of Virginia where I could drive down the road and during the day and the sun could be high in the sky. And the canopy is just so thick that it's dark and you turn your lights on. There was a road called Old Dominion up in Fairfax. And that was awesome. How thick and the underbrush is. And the canopy. It's no longer that thick anymore. It's thinned out. So, don't forget to like my channel, which is Charles Bear on YouTube, and and hit the bell. That way you'll get notified when I upload something. And then if you want to watch the Mount Solon feeds, you got to hit that bell for that, so you'll get notified. Right now, I'm trying to work out doing the high wire of not recording the disc and trying to record something like this live. I don't really have any subscribers yet, so there's no point in it unless people start to click the bell and get notified, and then they can chat. It's interesting to see people's reactions and chatting. A lot of people do it, and that's their interaction is with the chat, and it's entertaining. Lionel does it. Vox Day does it. Owen Benjamin does it. Those are my top three. And then other people do record the disc interviews, like Greg Hunter. I like what he does. I like his guests. Oh. Everybody should go to Dave Hodges' website. He talks about to serve man. Twilight Zone. To serve man. To serve man. To serve man. He says to serve man. It's thecommonsenseshow.com. The deep state. Doug Hagman. I listen to these people. The Hagman and Hagman I listen to when I'm getting ready to go to bed. Yep, he's got to call up the militia. That's exactly what I believe. Ooh, something's bothering the ducks. They're pissed. Okay. This is his article. Some guests are coming to Earth for dinner. This isn't a must read. 1984. Interesting date. The year I graduated from the high school. I graduated from high school in 1984. I had to read 1984. I had to read Animal Farm. I had to read Gilgamesh. I had to read and read and read. Oh, and I hated reading back then. I actually did not enjoy high school at all as far as learning stuff. It was arduous. And then there were a lot of guys who I wouldn't have expected, but they accelerated, and by the time they were seniors, they totally transformed. I don't know if that I had a transformation in high school. People who knew me back then would probably say the only thing I did was get a little taller. I was just a horn dog. That's all I really cared about. I cared about women, and then my sophomore year, I cared about trying to play drums, and I was so uncoordinated. Couldn't do it. It was the most frustrating thing in my life. So, with that in mind, support my channel if you like what's going on, and you can buy stuff through eBay. There's a lot of good things worth having, especially my go-to koala cloth. Everybody should have one of these if you wear glasses. This is my handout Christmas gift I'm giving everybody who I know who has glasses, or even sunglasses. And that is something that's a pet peeve. I can't stand having smudges on my glasses. It makes me go crazy, and I see people doing it all the time. I see that happening all the time. Thank you for watching. This is Charles Bear, CharlesBear.US.